are the solutions that you are solving with your software?
Yeah, so as you know, for cannabis operators, right now well, let me start like kind of what the problems are and how we're solving
Please.
it.
That's great.
First off, from a technical standpoint, in most mature industries, cannabis is a very nascent industry. In mature industries, there's technical infrastructure, reels, if you will, that not only for compliance, but interoperability, et cetera. And that is completely missing in the cannabis space today. And what we're finding is there are, several, I would actually say there's probably currently a handful of cannabis technology companies and operations that are able to organically expand into new markets because of these regulatory complexities and the instability of the reporting tools, et cetera. And compliance is a utility or a commodity. It's not optional. And we've built a solution that ultimately will level the playing field for companies to expand into new markets while maintaining compliance. And what I mean by that is imagine, I'm only talking about the second automation piece of it, but imagine one API, one data model, every state. With the added accessible data, because that's a problem, stability, protective guardrails, analytics, fraud detection, all of that as added values. And that's what we're making that dead simple.
Okay, got it. And so to back up a minute, your target audience, or like the people that you're solving for, are the third-party technology solutions that are integrated into state traceability platforms, or are there other people that are like your ideal client?
We're focusing primarily initially on cannabis technology solution providers, those technology companies, as well as cannabis operators with their own engineering teams that are looking to either enter and expand new markets or are already in markets and just understand that what they're utilizing is not working. It's not sustainable. It's not scalable. It's kludgy, and they obviously don't want the burden of maintaining that anymore and want to put that off on others. But there are other industries we are expanding into, cannabis industry, but as when legalization accelerates, either safe banking or federal legalization, all of your traditional mainstream industries, if you will be in.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they will absolutely require this underlying infrastructure if they're not already building it.
Yeah.
To be clear, in order to rapidly enter and expand, they will require it. And as I mentioned, these are what they call the rails, the technical rails in other industries. And that's what we want to be able to expand into these markets and as these adjacent verticals, that's the term I was looking for, adjacent verticals come into cannabis, we will be supporting them as well. And that gets into cannabis, fintech, and banking, et cetera,
Okay.
as well as payments.
Got it. Okay. And so just to back up a minute, because some of our listeners might not know some of these technical terms that we're using. So do you mind breaking down like API, fintech, technology rails, like kind of break those down into layman's terms for me?
Sure. So fintech is financial technology, and that's the PayPal's, the Stripes, even like Square, and then of course all of your banking, anything having to do with financial technology. And the term regulatory technology gets kind of associated with fintech, so they got reg tech and fintech. But regulatory technology actually does expand past financial technology. It's into health technology, cannabis. All of these other adjacent verticals require regulatory technology as well.
Got it.
And then APIs are application programming interfaces. So outside of cannabis, API first is what we call it. You're building an API first, and then applications, or what you as a user would see, that business application or user interface integrates with that. And then it's just an API, application programming interface endpoint. But outside of cannabis, it's compliance, fraud detection, risk management APIs are table stakes.
Okay.
And what they address outside of cannabis is many of the same compliance pieces that every cannabis company is going to need to adhere to, in addition to these cannabis regulations.
Right.
Sorry, it gets even worse. So in financial world, where me and my two co-founders come from, there's which we'll hear AML and KYC all the time. What that means is anti-money laundering and know your customer. It's really validating that the businesses and the transactions and the users are all real.
Okay.
And you do run into that, not only in fintech, I ran into that in other industries as well. Whenever there's money passing, I worked on what is now called Upwork, but it's the Odesk. And we had to be very, very careful about that because people were hiring people across jurisdictions, not just in the US, but globally, and money's transferring. So all of those compliance pieces come into play with that. And risk management, all of that. And we're taking that same approach to cannabis compliance. We're looking at cannabis compliance as a data problem, because ultimately that's what it is. It's enormous amounts of scattered, inaccessible, and unstructured data.